Well, unfortunately, this is happening a lot sooner than I wanted it to, but I hate to say I was right, but there's a part of me that feels like I called this from the jump. Uh, I literally think I said in my first confessional, like, something just doesn't feel right with this group, and I think it proved it on Wednesday when basically it was like I was ready to play, and they were playing too. Like that's the thing is, I don't hate any of them as people. I just am not a fan of the way some of them are playing, but they're playing. Like that's the point. They're playing the game. So it just they weren't willing to play the game the way I wanted to play the game, and it's it's disappointing, but also I couldn't fight to save myself for forever. I think I mean like I knew like it wasn't there's no way it was gonna last from when I got thrown into the spotlight to the final two. If that had happened, Jesus Christ, then that would have been insane. Like I think I probably I should have won hands down because like holy shit, there's no way I should have survived that long, but I did not. Clearly, I kind of disagree with what Matthew said on the goodbye post for me. He said like when I played my 50-50 at the round Kira left, that's when the attention was on me. I disagree. I think as soon as the red wedding happened, there was a lot of attention on me. And it's well, I mean, obviously people talk and they're trying to deflect attention from themselves, but it got back to Kira that genuinely my preference of the two leaving was Kira because, yeah, just reasons. I felt like it made more sense for me to get rid of her. And that got back to Kira. And so that immediately, because Kira's good. She's a great player socially. Competition wise, not so much. She's good socially and strategically, so she immediately tried to put in the groundwork to get me out of the game. So I think as soon as Steve was booted, that spotlight was on me. So from final 17 on, like let's like be real. I feel like not that I got shafted in Matthew's post, but I feel like I really survived 6 or 7 eliminations more than I should have or would have had I not done what I did. Uh, and it's tough. And like I know some people were like, "How can you be this tired?" It's a the problem is because of the situation that I was put in, because of the way I wanted to approach the game with an integrity or how what I felt comfortable with. I'm not preaching a fucking holier than thou argument. I'm not, because that's not me at all. But the way I wanted to play it, it put a target on my back. And I knew I needed that eventually to get respect and some credibility towards the end. But it just happened a lot faster than it needed to. I was kind of uncomfortable from the jump because like I said, the first elimination I went to was Tim, and that was unfortunately very straightforward. But then the second elimination didn't go my way. I knew in terms of just pure game, I didn't have a lot of control, so I knew I needed to. What are you doing, lady? I don't know how long she was just arched there. I knew I needed to pull in the people I could trust, the people who I felt good with, and I needed to lock down with them. And honestly, those people were Isaiah, Jodelie, Danny, Antoinette, Emma, and maybe I'm forgetting some other people, but those were the people that I felt a real kinship to on the front of the game itself. And it's just the way that the cards fell. The people I wanted to work with got picked off. My ride or die Danny got voted out the first time I picked a team. somebody I was really close with, Antoinette, got picked off the second team I picked. I may have won competitions, but I absolutely had no social strategic pull when that was happening, which is like really shows that I wasn't that threatening. People were scared that I could win a challenge, but if I sat in that final two, I could pitch a great underdog story, but in terms of actual control, I had none. And I know that. And I can recognize that. And that's the other part that disappoints me because I love the gameplay. And I feel like I kind of failed on that front. I played really well socially. I did the best I could with the time I had. Physically, I mean, there's a chance that nobody's going to beat my individual challenge wins for the season, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, there's a chance that nobody's could get 4 individuals. Travis has already got 2, 3 if we want to count the first one, but I'm not counting it because I have an ego. Um, but there's a chance nobody beats that. And strategically, I couldn't, like, Matthew was absolutely right in the post. I couldn't sink my teeth in strategically because this group of people didn't want to play the strategy game that like basically the strategy I wanted to apply, they didn't want to play with. And that bit me in the ass and it made me a target. It made me stand out. And that's why I disagree with Matthew saying that, like, you know, from Final 13 on, you really had to fight to save yourself. I had to fight to save myself from the final fucking 17, because you could make the argument that that red wedding could have been flipped on me. But really, from the final 16 to the final 10, I had to fight tooth and nail to get every inch. And so that's what really pisses me off more than anything. Which, you know, good for them, I guess, but there are people who outlasted me who have literally done nothing but twiddle their fucking thumbs and be told a name to write down. They have no pull, they have no control, and the part that upsets me, because if I can't win myself, I want it to be somebody who either I was really close with or somebody who I knew fought their ass off. And I feel like I had to fight my ass off, and some people are not going to even start playing the game until we get to jury, because they've been able to coast, and they've been able to take advantage of other people actually wanting to play the game. So that's what hurts, is because I've had to play hard from the jump to get picked off at 10th. And the part that really does upset me about that more than anything is, on a technical standpoint, I put in the most time to get nothing back, if that makes sense. I spent the most time in the game to have absolutely no say in the end result. That's what hurts, is that's what sucks. And yeah. I think I probably should just answer questions, otherwise I'll just go on rambling for a hot minute. But I think, yeah.
All right, Rory. So we do have a couple questions coming in from the VL right now that I'll ask you first.
Okay.
Number one we have is, if you had another opportunity to play the game, how would you change your gameplay this time, knowing what you know now?
Knowing what I know now, I mean, not be myself. That's the only thing I could change, is be inauthentic and try and vibe with the other side more. Which, you know, sucks. Like, honestly, I hate to say it, but I feel like there isn't really much I could change, because I played the game unapologetically as myself. And and no matter what, I was gonna vibe with the people I talked to anyway. It means, like, the only thing I could have changed, I guess, is I could have forced myself and tortured myself even more by being more social with the people I didn't want to work with in the game, and put up that facade, which somebody else is doing. And because I had such a target on my back, that would have just, I think, multiplied it even more. The only other things I could have done hypothetically better is done better about distancing from the people I was close with who got booted early, so I could have been quote unquote more in the know. Or maybe also looked more like a bitch in the game and been able to be like dragged around, have that appearance better. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to compromise appearances just to make it farther. And that's the part that's something that doesn't make me happy. Is I feel like there are people still there who don't care about leaving a mark on the game. They think the only thing that matters is the placement itself. They think the number defines everything, so they want that number to be as high as possible. So because of that, they are making no waves. They are making no attempt to actually play, which means they're perfect to drag to the end and get their ass handed to them. And that's not something I was willing to do. No offense, but I don't want to get dragged to a final just to get told of like how fucking worthless of a game and a waste of a spot that I was. I wanted to play. I wanted to play hard. I wanted to play my style. So that's just an evolution. Like Matthew said on my elimination post, when you met me, I was total crackhead. I came in, guns blazing, everything that I had in my being. Not having any of the savviness of how to actually play a social strategy game. And with time, I've mellowed out more, and I save that energy for a confessional, but I still play with my entire being. It's why it hurt to leave. Because I put my heart, my soul, my mind, my body, my spirit, I put everything into the game, which maybe that's not the healthiest thing, but that's what I do, and I don't know how to turn that switch off, and trust me, it'd be a lot more boring if I played the game very apathetic, not caring, because I've done that like once, and I was like, I I basically should have just quit because it was not fun for me. It wasn't fun for anybody involved. So I care, and that's why I don't think I could change anything, because then I'm not being true to myself, and then that inauthenticity gets clocked, and I feel like I just get targeted all over again for a different reason. So I feel like I kind of answered that question, as in like there's some things, I think there's minor tweaks that could have happened, but all in all, I think it's the same result because hindsight is 2020. I could say anything. I'd been like, oh, I would have thrown a vote here. Oh, I would have da 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 here, da 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 da. The only thing I genuinely think like could have made a difference changing was the Antoinette vote. I should have gone to Scott after that call and been like, I think they're full of shit. I'd rather be safe and just put the R2 on Kira. That's what I should have done, but you know, I didn't.
So in your previous answer and in your initial rant, you mentioned a couple of people that you think are just getting dragged and they're not really doing much. Can you name them? And then also that after that, another question came in from the VL, and it was basically, if you're still in the game, who do you want to go to the end with? And I'm assuming it's one of those people that you'll mention potentially, like people that you think are getting dragged.
I mean, ideally, you sit next to somebody who's done nothing because then it's an easy win. But I knew the direction to answer that quickly. I was genuine with everything I said the round I went out. I knew I needed other threats in the game, which means it would have been difficult as shit to convince an argument maybe in the final, but I needed to work with other threats. If I could handpick anybody of that 10, it was Isaiah. Easily. But I knew like I needed Riley, I needed a Zach, I needed Isaiah, I needed a Travis. And hell, I even to a certain extent, I think I kind of needed Scott, but we'll see. In terms of like, I would say less that they're getting dragged by, but more of a fact that they have no influence over the game. Because if they're actually getting dragged, then like, oh Jesus Christ, then that is a waste of a space. I'm sorry, but it is. So I just think they have no pull or influence, and or the argument of they think their ability is reflective of the placement number. Like I mean like I played the shit out of this game, tooting my own horn, but like 10th, some people will look at 10th and be like, oh, couldn't even make top 9. He couldn't even make single digits. Couldn't even make jury. There are some people who are going to make that judgment. So some people are going to be happy with getting to the jury. In terms of people who I feel like don't have pull in the game, Brian, because Brian didn't even save Brian. That's easy. Corey, I think, is the prime candidate of the argument of placement equals worth in the game. Because from what I could see, Brian Corey, no pull whatsoever. Jodely, it's not that Jodely has no pull. Jodely played a very... In fact, you know what? I'll just go down the list. I'll go back to Isaiah after this. Jodely is intentionally playing a low-profile game, trying to not piss people off, and I caught that. Like, to me, Jodely's game was transparent. It was. I'm sorry, but like, literally, Jodely opened up to me about having conversations with everybody. Jodely's game is hyper social, which, you know, not a bad thing. It's not. It's really not. It just, it hurts when it hurts because you feel like I made a genuine connection, not just beyond the game with Jodely, to then have Jodely basically be part of my betrayal. Hurts. And so it makes me kind of question, okay, how much of this was authentic? How much of this was game? Like, Jodely messaged me, like, after this elimination, we're going to talk anyway. And I was just like, no, fuck that. Fuck you. Because that tells me you're voting me out and you're trying to validate it to yourself after the fact of like, here's why you had to go, yada, 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 yada. No, I don't want to fucking hear it. You can marinate in the fact that you fucked me over and you hurt me. Isaiah, not floating by. Isaiah is taking a stand, and like I have a feeling that if Isaiah didn't win something here, Isaiah's in a lot of trouble. Like I really do, because I just think like that entire Red Wedding. Isaiah's the only person left from the whole Red Wedding fiasco. Let that sink in. Like that whole situation was not good for any of us. Like let's be real, it really wasn't good for any of us. So yeah. But I fucking adore Isaiah. If I had to pick who I want to win, I want it to be Isaiah out of anybody, because I was close to him and I know he's playing his ass off. Like Isaiah has the strategic pull, I didn't. And so I love that and I respect it, because to me competitions are just competitions. It's a way to get power, but you can fuck up with the power. Prime example, me. Jordan, I don't know what the fuck Jordan's doing. I really don't. I mean, besides, like, you know, like, Jordan's game is social, I guess, but there was something from the jump that just, like, told me, no, I don't trust Jordan. I don't, because, like, the conversations just felt forced. Nothing felt natural about it, and I knew I couldn't trust Jordan, so I trusted me. And I trusted that judgment, and, of course, Jordan was part of my downfall, because I didn't trust him for shit, and he didn't trust me for shit. Riley's a fucking weird one. Like, I'm gonna be real. Because I was genuine with Riley this last round. I talked to Riley in the beginning. I'm like, cool, we have a connection coming in. And then Loki had a fight in DMs with Riley. The round he played his force field. Like, genuine. Like, we fucking fought. In messages. Like, that is the most of an altercation I've gotten in a text chat with anybody, but I was laying it all out there for how I felt with Riley. So Riley was against me, straight up, knew that. And then I felt like we had mended the bridge and I was ready to do damage with Riley because, like I said, I needed the threats for me, because if these lower profile players gang up, it's over. So I needed Riley, and I don't know what Riley would have done had Riley been at the elimination. I don't. But there's a chance Riley still fucks me over, because I don't know how much of the conversations I had with Riley got out. But I was real with Riley. That is what it is. I feel like I was not on good terms with Riley for most of this game, but I feel like I left on good terms with Riley. I mean, that could be a completely wrong read, and Riley could be like shit talking in his confessionals, like, I'm so glad that clown is gone. Fuck him, yada yada. Like, he could be saying that. I don't know. I don't. I feel like I'm just rambling. Scott? Um, Scott. Scott is a threat, and he's trying to play it off like he's not a threat because, one, found the force field, which, good for him. Won the first individual challenge and realized, oh shit, I don't need to be winning challenges / I don't want to be winning challenges this early, and started sitting out / throwing the challenges, which is kind of a hilarity in itself. But Scott is trying to play like he's not a threat, but Scott's a threat. And so just because he's trying to keep a low profile, it's a little dangerous, but say lovey. I wouldn't be mad with a Scott win, and I'll go over that at the end. Travis, I don't know. There's like an awkwardness to Travis. I don't know. It's weird. But like, again, the whole like threats, we needed each other, but like, again, I felt like my communication with Travis was shit. I mean, the posting challenge, that was a fun little bonding moment at the end of that with him. But like I don't know. Part of me wants to get it, but I feel like I don't. I mean, he's got an approach. I know him and Jordan are everywhere. They're trying to duo up with everybody. I exposed that shit before I left, so there's something strategic I did. I exposed the fuck out of Travis and Jordan. But the intention was to get rid of Jordan, because then I felt like maybe I could pull in Travis. I don't know. And then Zach. Zachariah, as I put on my fucking ballot. Where do I fucking start? It feels like there's an ego. And as far as I'm concerned, you've never played Ascendance before. You haven't won Ascendance before. You are in the same boat as everybody else here. It felt unwarranted, unneeded, and unnecessary, and it rubbed me the wrong way and pissed me off. It did. Like, just straight up. And on a game level, it annoyed the shit out of me. So, to find out that he fucked me over when I was honest with him about this threats, we need to work together. Did I talk too much? Yes. But that was literally my authenticity with him. I told him where I was at and basically told him, if you go with me, if we do this, you are guaranteed Final 7, Final 6. With me. So clearly, Zach is confident enough that he's going to do better than that. So there is a part of me that hopes Zach gets anywhere between 9th and 7th, purely because it shows he fucked up and he made the wrong call, because he threw me under the bus hard to Jordan. I wasn't even the one who started Jordan's name. Well, I mean, I kind of did, but like, I didn't want that to get known. I mean, me and Isaiah were kind of like, I think Jordan and Travis need to get split. So when it was Jordan, I'm like, okay, let's do Jordan. But, yeah. But people I'm okay with winning the game based on what I saw: Isaiah, Riley, Scott, Travis, Zach. The other 4, I mean, Jodely, I guess, but like, yeah.
All right, Rory, I have to ask. I've been on production for 3 or 4 seasons now,
Okay.
and I've seen 2 attempts at fake crying. This was the 3rd attempt, and I wrote in my rankings of fake crying in this series that you had the best attempt at it. Run me through what you were trying to do, and what, like, were you playing on their emotion? Were you trying to tug at their heartstrings there? And
Yeah.
just run me through that scenario.
So, full disclosure, very method in the moment. I love that this got brought up. I been acting for a minute. Fun, woo. But I have to be in that place to get there. So I was upset. I was livid. I was everything. And then I'm like, oh my God, they're actually gonna fucking send me home when I haven't lied to y'all yet. In fact, hell, I was even straight up with Jordan. It was you until Zach fucked me over. That's what. Okay, that's another part that fucking stings. I didn't lie to them and they still fucked me over. That's the first time that's ever happened. Like, I have no problem getting fucked over when, like, I was lying to people. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. I was honest. I was genuine and got fucked. So I was hurt. I was upset because it kept sinking in. Everybody's like, well, maybe if you get somebody else. Well, maybe if you get somebody else. Well, maybe get... I had fucking 4, 5 people. I had 3 people tell me that. That's 5 votes. And I'm like, oh my God. You don't want me to go, but you're still going to write my fucking name down. Oh my God. You know, is what it is. I couldn't talk to Corey. Corey probably was the smartest one by, like, not even trying to talk to me. So I was just like, the last ditch effort was made. The group was made. Pulled a Gluck in a sense of making a chat and being like, look, I'm going to be real. This is where I'm at. And I was upset. I'm like, I have worked too fucking hard for too fucking long to go out like this. So I was upset. It was easy to produce the tears. It was easy to put myself in that place and just try and let it happen. So I was kind of already in a mental state. It's like, you know, I could maybe cry right now and maybe it would work. This is honestly the thought process going through my head. And then I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. And then I just let it happen. So there was the real trick to fake crying is there needs to be some authenticity in it. So like I really was upset. So it was easy to push myself internally a little further. It helps when you have when you're on fucking medication for anxiety and because of the game you haven't been taking it because you make poor life decisions, so you're mentally kind of like yee already. So that helped, but fake crying is fun. Like honestly, I have never done that in a game before. I've really cried. Like I said, I play with my entire being, so like I'm gonna cry if that's what I feel like doing. But like this was the first time I was like, I'm gonna fake cry, I'm gonna cry my fucking eyes out, and let's see what happens. And it wasn't enough, unfortunately. I tried to get the heartstrings of being like, guys, please, please, y'all, I don't want to go. I don't want to, like, I'm getting fucked over. Like, this literally is going to happen. I literally was like, this is what's going to happen to you if you keep zacking over me. And they didn't care.
I will say it almost did work. It almost did work. But those are all the questions that I have for you. If you have anything else you want to add to the end of this exit interview, you can do so now.
Matthew's been bugging me to play this since, yeah, like the 3rd season, like really early on. So, although I'm disappointed in like, because, you know, making jury is some form of validation, but like, also like talking to some people after my boot, like Kira messaged me, it's like, yeah, we made a 6-person alliance to get you out. I don't know how many other people in Ascendance can be like, a fucking 6-person alliance was made with the sole goal of taking me out of the game. I'm sorry. That makes me feel powerful. That makes me feel really fucking good about what I did in this game. That people were scared shitless to take me into single digits because they're like, I could win out. Was I going to? Absolutely not. Because I had gotten a little bit comfortable. I'd been like, okay, I feel like I'm in a better spot now. I can breathe a little bit. I don't have to win to survive. I was in a state of, if I don't win, I'm fucked. So I guess maybe doubling back a little bit, the only regret is playing the 50-50 coin when I did, but also I didn't trust everybody. Was not going to write my name down, but maybe if I don't play it there and Kira leaves, I still have my coin. I would have played it the second Riley played his force field. Like, no hesitation whatsoever. That is exactly what I would have done. And it would have been wasted there too because Riley voted for Emma. So I wouldn't have had my 50-50 to play at the last vote. There genuinely was, I did everything that I could. And part of it is my job. I literally cannot have this thing, this little brick of technology that connects me to the world and is how people are playing this game. I wasn't allowed to have it for 6 hours a day. So the fact that I got 10th place with limited time, I mean, like, obviously I'm disappointed because I play to win. You don't play to lose. I'm sorry. You don't. But so I'm disappointed that numerically it's 10 is the placement. But I kind of stand by the words that I said in this production chat of I feel like I did more in the rounds I was in this game than maybe the potential final two is going to have. Because I was making the pitch of the threats need to get to the end to guarantee we have a solid fucking winner. There is a very good chance that every single major threat is just going to go bang, 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 bang. And then they're going to be like a final five of what the fuck did they even do? And like that's going to be an entertaining finale for a completely different reason of just the jury bitch fest, which, you know, might be fun, but, you know, I just. I'm just rooting for the downfall of the people who wrote my name down because as soon as I found out what Zach did, I was ready to shift. That's the thing. I was ready to be malleable, and other people are playing this game so rigid. It's boring. It's boring. I'm sorry, it really is. It's so boring. Like I was talking with Isaiah, I'm like, we're gonna have to flip and flop in this jury face to get ourselves to the end. I feel like you have to be malleable to win at this game, and it's so They bore me. This is a boring group. I feel like Isaiah's going home tonight, like right now, because I just got the notification on my phone that the elimination's live now. I feel like Isaiah's going home, and it's going to be a boring game. That's what I feel. I mean, like I said, I don't vibe with this group. I'm here for fun. I'm here for laughs. I'm here for a good fucking time. The problem is, bigger characters tend to clash. Not calling myself a big character, but compared to the boring group, I'm a big character. So I'm just rooting for something to fucking happen. That's all I'm rooting for. Isaiah and something to happen. I would be rooting for Jodely if Jodely didn't fuck me. Also, I'm a little disappointed that my like go-to phrase in with the call with everybody is he could have at least bought me dinner before he fucked me. I'm very disappointed that wasn't the episode title, but you know, it's like did check the wiki, but like I thought it was a good one. But I also kind of fucking drove it into the ground in the span of an hour. But like, at the end of the day, I know what I did. Am I happy all the way? No. But absolutely, I can say with confidence, Ascendance 8 isn't Ascendance 8 without me. I can feel confident in saying that because I absolutely raised some hell and left a fucking mark on this game. And so I think, honestly, and I kind of thought about this during my whole like decompression, I feel like the closest comparison I can make to my game here to like any like reality TV kind of thing, I would compare it. The closest thing I think is to like Judd from Sequester 2, the live action, because just calling the spade for the most part, the pre-jury was about me. People made alliances to get me out. If I wasn't safe, I was a name on the table. This pre-jury was about me, so maybe it's fitting that I am the final pre-juror, so maybe this game can actually become about somebody else. Ding. No, that's a very fucking self-centered answer, but, you know, it does feel like that. So, yeah. I just hope the people who wrote my name down get their shit rocked. Like, thank you.
All right, Rory, thank you. Let me stop this recording.